Kuzu Zangpo and a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. I am Sonam Rinchen. Our top stories. His Majesty the King granted an audience to the Desung volunteers in Tenchuling, Wangdi Phodrang yesterday. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Gyaltsen graced the last day of the annual Paro Tsechu on Tuesday. And the first ever meeting between His Holiness the J. Khenpo and the principal of 13 Gezin Dratsang was held in Hlinsi. His Majesty the King granted an audience to the Desung volunteers in Tenchuling, Wangdi Phodrang yesterday. 108 Desups are undergoing the 11th batch Desung training program, which began on 17th of last month. Including the current batch, 1,284 Desups have completed the Desung training program since it began in 2011. The annual Paro Tsechu ended on Tuesday. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Gyaltsen graced the last day of the festival. Their Majesties offered prayers. Their Majesties also interacted with thousands of people gathered at the festival. The highlight of the last day of Paro Tsechu was the unfurling of the Guru Tsenge Thongdrel. The Thongdrel was unfurled as early as 4 in the morning. As is the case every year, thousands thronged to offer prayers and receive blessings from the Thongdrel. By dawnbreak, the Angkha, where the festival was held, was packed with the people, all dressed in the finest. Paro Tsechu is one of the biggest and popular festivals in the country. It draws thousands of people, including tourists, every year. From now on, 13 Gyönpa, which were identified as Gezing Dratsang in 2009, will function as any other monastic schools. The first ever meeting between His Holiness the J. Khenpo and the principals of 13 Gezin Dratsang was held in Aotso in Hlinsi.
The meeting decided that 13 Gezin Dratsang should have a maximum of 30 monks, and they will receive a stipend of 1,000 nultrum each every month. This means Gyönpa, which are now identified as Gezin Dratsang, will have regular classes and exams. It is also expected to discourage monks from leaving the Gyönpa.
Gyönpatiki Tsechu nyeringa bomde drupchu tisukara nyamma chuni nga sunalo. Tele shenyun tisuya jirim loge, torim logu, nyendrup losum, tisukara te Gyönpa tinalera gope, inchimichi supe gope, sunri anebe chuni.
The 13 Gezin Dratsang are located in Thimphu, Chukha, Wangdi Phodrang, Hlinsi, Chirang, Tashigang, and Tashiyangsi. Compiled for Cheche, this is Tanden Finso for BBS News.
The Crafts Festival 2014 was held in Thimphu. Her Majesty the Queen Mother Sangye Children Wangchuk, the patron of the Royal Textile Academy, graced the opening. The result of the National Design Competition was also declared at the event.
The week-long Crafts Festival is being held at the Royal Textile Academy in Thimphu. As the festival opened this afternoon, the results of the National Design Competition were also announced. The National Design Competition consisted of 3 categories: Go, Kira and Embroidery. Ugin Yuden from Samdup Dzongkha backed the first prize in both Kira and Go categories.
아지 사이처럼 초기에 아니면 고른 세베 남섬이 셈가이라 nga lara ani ilaga choya matala nya chungkuganle peme latida seratope nami semgai
Wang Mo from Wadipodang is the winner for the embroidery category.
바주부주 알루르 술로엘랍 차로 승기 술로엘랍이라 자곰 수기아님지 기두집달로 응아치라 라니베 차베나 템민고 니메나 템민고 고마기 아님지 집달로디 응아치기 디와메메 녹사치 응아치라레 똥거베시.
The winners were also awarded a cash prize of 50,000 niltrum each. Designers from across the country took part in the competition. 10 meritorious prizes with certificates were also awarded to the weavers for their contributions to the development, preservation and promotion of the country's textile arts. 21 various agencies are taking part in the Crafts Festival, showcasing the traditional crafts of Bhutan. The festival also has participants from as far as Trashigang and Laya.
바스카 티켓 수가라 데레 마치게 침나데 템실네 데레 고속디게베 민당레를 데레 숨지레 시송데 아니디게 마치디 남스미심게 세션이.
The week-long festival concludes on the 17th of this month. Somchodan, PBS News.
The newly renovated Lhunchizong was inaugurated last Saturday. The Rabni was presided over by His Holiness DJ Khenpo Triku Jigme Choda. It was inaugurated by His Majesty's representative to the East, His Royal Highness Getsap Jigme Dorji Wangchuk.
The Lhunchizong is situated right on the top on a hill overlooking the Kurichu River. The zong was constructed in 1654 by Tongsa Pelop Chogyal Minju Tempa and was named Lhendup Rinchense Zong. It is also known as Lele Zong. His Majesty's representative to the East, His Royal Highness Gyaltsap Jigme Dorji Wangchuk and Aji Yisol Hamo were the guests of honor. The Agriculture and Forest Minister and the members of the Parliament also attended the Rabne.
Zongi Sachadi Ngaji Shabdu Rambuchigi Kutsugom King Pema Carbosieva, Dani King Pema Carbogi, Tsalam, Yonzinga, Yuanchu Se, Tangachi Pedin Drupiki, Dungi, Jimame Valechimbi, Lam Shudibi, Anigi, the dancer of Chana Nosuni, the Divoda Kogi dancer Jabda, Nam Ja Shusu, the Jida, Gin Shusuchi, Nagi, Nam Gin Shusugi, the Hindru Se, the Devision, the Nam Ja Shusu, the Timulasi, the Anigi Rungulu Chiel, the Analovechubi. The Nagi the Hundred dancer Chabde, the Ribachi Longo Dinjal Habchi, Yasumura dancer Chabde.
The September earthquake in 2009 had damaged the zong. The zong's wall, made out of timber, were also old. The zong was renovated several times in the past as well. The renovation for this time began in August 2009 and was completed in October 2013. The Lhunchizong was renovated under Lhunchizong Conservation Project. The renovation was funded by Government of India. The cost came up to little more than 162 million niltrum. Compiled for Cheche, Sonam Hamo for PBS News.
The Prime Minister Tring Tobge said that apart from public awareness, tougher laws will be amended for substance abusers and dealers in the country. This, the Prime Minister said while responding to questions raised by the students of Sherapsi College on the drug-related problem in the country.
Prime Minister Tring Tobge said the government has begun a serious crackdown on the substance abusers and dealers in the country. When asked how the government is responding on the growing substance abuse among youth, Prime Minister said the government would work out on tougher laws for the dealers and abusers. He said in the last 6 months, around 550 substance abusers and dealers have been apprehended across the country.
During the third parliament session, we are going to amend the drug law. We are going to make the law tougher. The most important thing you need to understand is that it's time for you to advise people who are into drugs. If it works, advise them. If not, tell them directly. Because if you fail to convince them, there are chances that they might land up in jail for 5 years.
Apart from series of crackdowns and implementing tougher laws, Prime Minister said the government is also creating public awareness. He added that the growing substance-related issue is an indication of decline of values and discipline in the schools.
To be frank, if there is lack of discipline, then it is important to acknowledge it. Firstly, it is important to discipline the teachers themselves and then discipline the students. The students in turn need to discipline among themselves.
Prime Minister also added that counseling is not just enough and therefore every individual have to shoulder the responsibility to prevent the problem. He urged the students not to indulge in substance abuse and accordingly advised friends and families on the ill habits. The students also questioned the Prime Minister on the economic stimulus plan, investment in the hydropower and government's expectation from the Sherapsi College. Compiled for Pemanamge in Kanglung, Sonamlhamo for BBS News.
In what could become a major educational reform, if implemented, Prime Minister Sring Tobge shared his vision of reducing the number of schools to a few quality schools. The Prime Minister, who is currently on a tour to the east to sign performance agreements with the Dzongkhaks, is also seeking views of local leaders and civil servants on it.
Citing Tashiangsi as an example, Prime Minister Sring Tobge said it would be better to take care of just 4 schools rather than 30.
It is just my opinion and not a final decision. There are 30 schools in Tashiangsi at present. What about taking care of just 4 schools rather than 30? This is just an example. So if we bring down the number of schools to just 4, we can have classes from PP till 10 with boarding facilities, and 1 school just for class 11 and 12 students.
Prime Minister said if all students could study in boarding schools, it would help bridge the knowledge gap between urban and rural students. He said students in urban areas have their parents to guide them with their studies, but those in rural areas depend only on teachers.
If government can take care of students by providing good nutritional meals, employ separate people to take care of students, place nurses and sisters in schools to take care of students' health, how would that be? It's just my opinion and we have decided nothing on it. And if we do that, everything including school stationaries will have to be provided by the government.
Prime Minister added if students can study from pre-primary till class 10 in one school, it would contribute towards enhancing the quality of education. He said a lot needs to be done to materialize this idea of his into a reality. He said huge investments will have to be made in constructing classrooms, dining halls, hostels, and in providing meals and stationeries to the students. Prime Minister called for feedback from the local leaders, public and the civil servants. He said if it receives public support, his government will work towards it. Compiled for Pemanamge in Kanglung, Sonamlhamo for BBS News.
In an effort to achieve food self-sufficiency, a rice mill was installed in Chuzegang Gyeok in Serpang in 2009. Since then, the Gyeok has produced more than 90 metric tons of rice.
With a vast paddy field and adequate irrigation water, most of the farmers in Chuzegang Gyeok have taken up paddy cultivation. What's more, the Gyeok has its own rice mill. The mill was installed for commercial production in 2009 with financial assistance from the European Union. It was established to help achieve food self-sufficiency in the country. Chuzegang Commercial Rice Production Group, formed in 2008 with 220 members, took charge of the rice mill. It began commercial rice production from 2010 and till date produced over 90 metric tons of rice. It was sold in Thimphu, Bumtang, Tongsa and Shamgang. According to the group, they never faced any problems selling the rice. The group gave farm machineries on hire to farmers of Sejong, Chuzegang and Umling during paddy transplantation, and in return farmers gave rice instead of paying in cash. However, from this year, the Regional Food Corporation office in Gyeonggi will take over the mill for a period of 5 years. An agreement to this effect was signed between the regional office and the Ministry of Agriculture and Forest. Over the next 5 years, FCB will focus on increasing rice production. Their target is to supply 1,000 metric tons of rice by next year. The regional manager Ugin Cherup said sheds for rice mill are being constructed in Sirang, Bajathang and Taipam. This, he said, will go a long way in helping to achieve food self-sufficiency in the country and also address the rupee crunch. Compiled for Puba, Tashurun, PBS News, Gelifu.
13 landowners whose lands were taken for the Gelifu airport construction were once again given land substitute on Monday. This time, too, some landowners expressed dissatisfaction with the land substitute.
The 27 acres land belonging to the 13 landowners was identified between the airport and the Gelifu-Serpong highway, closing the chapter once and for all. The issue had dragged on for quite some time. The land committee members said there will be no further discussion. Several discussions were held with the landowners in the past but failed to come to a consensus. It was during a meeting in June 2010 where the landowners and the members of Substitute Land Committee decided that the landowners will be compensated with land through Lucky Dip system. And in early 2011, as decided, the landowners were given land compensation. However, the National Land Commission, in a meeting held in November 2011 for the purpose of Gelifu Airport construction, did not approve the land compensation of the 13 landowners. This is because the 13 landowners whose lands were in Samtalingyok were compensated with land from Gelifu-Gyok. And according to the 2007 Land Act, the land compensation has to be given from the same Gyok. As such, the landowners were given land substitute from Samtalingyok itself, but the owners refused to take it. They said the land substitute is further away from the town compared to the land they owned. Some of the landowners were not happy with the land substitute given this time as well and said they need time till the end of May.
Accountability academy for no fault of ours
As per the civil aviation, the land identified falls away from the flight funnel and transition zone, so the people will not be affected. Shori Gurung, BBS News, Gelifu.
Farmers of Pemathang Chiwok of Gosaling Geok in Sirang will be able to grow vegetables in winter too, if the Climate Smart Agriculture pilot project succeeds. Under the project, rainwater will be harvested, which will be used by the farmers of Pemathang to water their vegetable farms.
The villagers of Pemathang Chiok in Sirang are busy at work. They are working for the construction of a water tank. The tank, which will have a capacity to store 16,000 liters of water, is being built above Pemathang Chiok. The tank is part of Climate Smart Agriculture pilot project. It will be used mainly to harvest rainwater, which the farmers of Pemathang Chiok can use to water their vegetable fields.
Water is a huge problem. We are hoping the rain harvest project will help.
We have no water to grow vegetable. All our vegetables dry up.
There is no water at all at the moment, so even if we grow vegetables, everything dries up. The government has been providing us with seeds, but it has been of no use. Now with this initiative to harvest rainwater for our use, we are hoping to be able to grow vegetables, even in winter. There's no water source here. I'm hoping a lot from this project. If this works out, we should be able to grow vegetables and sell it to earn cash income.
Chirang Zongkak Agriculture Officer said the water from the tank will be mainly for the use of some 13 households in Pemathang Chiok that is faced with acute shortage of water for vegetable farming.
The water tank was constructed so that small water we have right now is preserved. and we also have provision to store rainwater. The people will be able to use this water in their vegetable fields.
Pemathang's vegetable group is one of the most active farmers group in Chirang. They have been supplying vegetables and poultry products to the Puna Sangchu project. The rain harvesting project is expected to boost the Chiuk's vegetable production. The project is initiated by SNV in collaboration with Department of Agriculture and Chirang Zongkak. Compiled for Kenchusring in Chirang, Sonam Lamu for PBS News.
Well, that is all we have for you this week. Join us again next week for yet another edition of Bhutan This Week. Until then, it's goodbye. And I am Sonam Rinchen.